Good morning, fellow riders. Today we're going to go over the oil change 1-year review on a 2016 Kawasaki Vulcan S. Alright guys, going over what we're going to use on the 2016 Vulcan S. Obviously we're going to use 10W40 synthetic motorcycle oil for a 4-stroke or 4-cycle. We're going to use a 17mm nut for the drain plug. Now I also recommend the K&N filters. They also have a 17mm nut. The placement on the oil filter on this bike is hard to get to unless you have a jack, so I highly recommend it. And per specifications, we're going to torque it down to the recommended specs. Here we are, we're going to get started with the change. I think you guys know what comes next. Then we're going to let that drain and we'll be right back. While we're waiting for that to drain, let's go ahead and adjust the torque specs to 22 foot-pounds of oil drain plug per our manual. So let's wipe off where the nut is gonna go. Get a nice clean surface. And as always with any nut or bolt, start it by hand. Make sure you're not messing up any of those threads, because that could be a big problem. Now let's throw our 17mm socket on our torque wrench. And that, my friends, is 22 foot-pounds per manual specification. Now, let's jump onto the other side of the bike. First off, let's prep the surface of where the gasset's gonna sit. Clean it off, make sure there's no excess dirt or anything that's gonna create a bad seal. Now it looks like this filter actually came pre-lubed around the gasket, but we're just gonna go ahead and add a little bit just to be safe. We're gonna start it by hand. Just to where it's hand tight. Now we're going to go ahead and check the torque spec. Per the manual, this is going to be 12 foot-pounds, which isn't much. You know what? I think an extension would help right here. And there it is. 12 foot-pounds isn't much, but if you have a torque spec and a torque wrench, why not do it? Okay, so here's where we're going to fill the oil on this bike. You want to make sure you don't lose that O-ring right there. Very important. Now, per specifications with an oil change, this bike is going to take 1.9 US quarts. So I'm going to grab a funnel and we're going to do 1 quart right off the bat. That, my friends, is the end of quart 1. What you can see is I got it filled up just to about that 28 ounce mark, which is just above, I believe, 1.8 quarts in total. So I'm going to add this. I'm going to be well within the threshold, and then I will check. Right here is going to be your sight gauge, and check your oil level. Alright, quart number 2. Of our second quart. Now guys, I'm not sure if you can see, but see on this sight gauge here, you can't even see any oil yet. So don't freak out as you're putting your oil in. And don't put too much because you're going off just the sight alone. That sight is only giving you an actual reading when the bike is up level. So we're going to show you how to do that at the end of the video. So now we're going to go ahead and let the bike run for a little bit, get oil to every part of the engine and the filter, and then we're going to go ahead, level out our bike, and check our level gauge. Alright guys, so the oil has cycled through the engine. As you can see, we got 2 marks. One's right here, one's right here. My oil level, for the bike being about as level as it can be, it's within the tolerance. So, we finished up the oil filter change and the oil change. Let's go ahead and review the bike.